Well, that was interesting, eh? I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. I did. There's a prediction video. Showed it. Anyway, hey, Seth Rollins is the cat with the heist of the century again, right? We're going to talk about that. We're talking about everything else that happened on SummerSlam night one. It's Canadian content YouTube wrestling guy, Andrew from DA Wrestling. Let's do this. All right. Before I go any further on this, though, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe down below. Much appreciated for all the subscribers that we have now, right? Looking to build more. It's a small YouTube channel, looking to build up more and more and more. So you're bringing more stuff as well, too, right? Eventually want to get into shirts and stuff like that. Why not? Right? But anyway, hey, guys, we appreciate it, though. Thank you. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, especially if you like the video. Thank you. Anyway, let's talk about this. We're going to go over SummerSlam Night 1 that took place in New Jersey, where the Jets and Giants play, if you're into football, right? And we're going to talk about this. First thing we're going to talk about, though, is Seth Rollins. Now, I said in our predictions video that Seth Rollins is probably going to cash in. Whole thing's a ruse. Now, I see people on the internet saying, oh, we call it a ruse. No, you guys didn't. No, you didn't. Some of you did. Fair enough, right? But not all you did. But Seth Rollins, though, ends up winning the WWE title. I said in the predictions video that CM Punk's going to win it, and he's going to lose it. He held it for 5 minutes. A little bit longer than Drew McIntyre did. In fact, Drew even said, too, it's karma. In a post-interview. After the thing, he said it was karma. It is. So, after a fantastic match between CM Punk and Gunther, like literally the best match on the entire show, right? CM Punk ends up winning with 2 GTSs after blooding up Gunther with putting him through a table, right? CM Punk gets his moment a little bit. As soon as he raises, right, he's crying, he's holding the towel. As soon as he raises his hands like so, with the belt in hand, Seth Rollins' music comes out. Seth comes on crutches, starts crap talking Punk, right? Hold on to while you can, hold on you can. As it starts, meanwhile, Paul Heyman over there is just showing off the Money in the Bank briefcase, like it's the most natural thing in the world. Seth was walking away. Seth all of a sudden stops, drops the crutches, like he's just been healed by some pastor in Alabama, right? Drops everything down, turns around, takes the glasses off, takes his jacket off, takes off the brace, and runs on down, right? Beats CM Punk with the briefcase, like I said was going to happen. Then cashes in Money in the Bank, right? Hits Punk with the stomp. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins, king of the cash-ins. I mean, let's be honest here. Guy must be king of the cash-ins, right? I mean, you all sit there and say, oh, well, Edge and all this. It's fine. Yeah, Edge did definitely cashed in a couple times. But not in the way Seth Rollins has. Seth Rollins has done it on 2 big major pay-per-views, right? Well, doing it one time to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and now doing it to CM Punk. Seth Rollins, right? Where does this go from here, though? Now, this is how I see it. I could be wrong. Lots of things could play into factor. We still have a Roman Reigns factor. But I think right now, this is a long-term story, right? Been talking about it now for 2 years. Now, some people might be getting annoyed by it. That's fine. But I think the payoff here is I think Seth Rollins is going to hold that title now till WrestleMania. Much like the last time he held the title, till WrestleMania, and where he lost it to Drew and then got screwed by Punk and then Damian Priest cashed in. But I think what's going to happen here is that Rollins is going to hold that title. Now, Punk might get a rematch maybe somewhere down the line, maybe at Clash of Paris. But I think CM Punk, right, may even leave for a bit. He'll probably come back, if he does leave for a little bit, come back around the Royal Rumble. I think Punk is your Royal Rumble winner for 2026. And I think he's going to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania to conclude the entire story. and Punk will eventually be the world champion, and he'll probably go on a decent run with it. That's kind of how I see it right now. Honestly, King of the Cash-ins, you can't knock it. Right? It was a great main event, hands down to Gunther and Punk. Like Punk and Gunther, look, are two of the best literally in the world. No pun intended to CM Punk, but let's be honest, right? Gunther and Punk put on a hell of a match. It's gonna be hard pressed for Cody and John to do it tonight on Sunday for their SummerSlam main event. But it was a hell of a good match. Excellent storytelling there. Highly recommend you go watch it. I've already watched it twice, right? So hey, hands down, we'll see what Seth Rollins says on Monday. I'm sure he's gonna crap on Punk for a bit. I'm sure Punk's gonna come out on Monday too for a little bit, right? And have a big go at each other. But hey, excellent match. Cash in. Everything we said was gonna happen happened, which is great. Moving on though, we have new tag team women's champions. Yeah, almost didn't by the looks of it, but Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are the new tag team champions. Now we kind of definitely called this here on DA Wrestling here. It was a pretty good match for what it was. I enjoy this. I actually really enjoying this Alexa Bliss Charlotte Flair kind of thing going on. I did mention that also in the predictions video. I do like it. I do like how it almost collapsed when Alexa Bliss punched Charlotte Flair and laid her out, and then Charlotte Flair got pop rocked, right after the Tejana bomb, right? But Alexa Bliss ended up saving her, right? Alexa Bliss ends up eventually setting up Roxanne Perez, who we're gonna talk about that in a second, right? Roxanne Perez, right, is set up into what's it called? Well, Bray Wyatt's old finisher, right? It skips my mind for some odd reason right now, right? She looked over at Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair looks like basically it looked like Charlotte Flair was about to turn on Alexa, right? But then kicks out Raquel Rodriguez. She ends up hitting the Bray Wyatt's finisher, right? 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Perez takes the pin. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are the new tag team champions. They hug in the end. Charlotte even looks at her and says, "You punched me." She's like, "It was an accident." She's not wrong. It was an accident for sure. Like Raquel, got pulled out of the way by Roxanne Perez. It happens. So, your new tag team champions are Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. I like the combo. I'm interested to see how far this goes. I'm expecting eventually one of them to turn on each other. I'm assuming that it's going to happen at some point. But right now, hey, it's great. But as far as Roxanne Perez goes, right? Now I understand, Kevin Nash had a conversation with Raquel Rodriguez and said, you're tall, you're big, you're strong, you should be more bigger. And I agree with that sentiment completely. 100% with Kevin Nash. I completely agree with Kevin Nash on this point, right? But my complaint, though, is that you bring Roxanne Perez up, who is by far going to be the next, I'm going to say probably next women's champion at some point down the road. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's next year. Something like she may win the Rumble next year and then win at WrestleMania. It remains to be seen. It depends on really what's going on at the time. But keep having Roxanne take these pins and all stuff. You could have had Raquel Rodriguez take the pin, right? Now, obviously, this is going to be probably pushed on to a different story too with Raquel. I say blaming Roxanne Perez. If Liv Morgan was there, it never would have happened. Yada yada yada. So it probably seems to maybe start stemming to a breakup between Roxanne Perez and the Judgment Day, or Raquel Rodriguez breaking up with the Judgment Day. One of the others probably going to happen here. I don't know which one's going to happen, but at some point there is going to be a separation between Roxanne Perez and the Judgment Day. Do I think Roxanne Perez needs the Judgment Day right now? Absolutely not. Comment down below if you think I'm completely insane about this. But I don't think Roxanne Perez needs Raquel Rodriguez or the Judgment Day at all. I think it's probably better off if you don't have her. But hey, right? Time will tell us, see what happens. Raw should be very interesting, especially coming off a Saturday night like that, where when I said Judgment Day was going to probably lose some of their titles. We'll find out what happens tonight on Sunday with AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio, because I predicted that they're all going to lose the titles, and just the only people going to have titles are going to be Ray, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough. So we're going to find out more. Moving on. So I picked Jade Cargill to beat Tiffany Stratton, which in all fairness probably should have happened. It really should have. Let's be honest here, right? Jimmy Stratton's title reign hasn't been exactly the greatest, right? But she has beaten some big name people. Fair enough. But Jade Cargill and Jimmy Stratton has 7 minute match. Now I've seen a lot of outrage online about this 7 minute match. Yes, a 7 minute match. Not the greatest, especially considering there's so much time you could have done with SummerSlam. I don't understand where they're going with Jade Cargill on this one, right? Do they have somebody else in mind? Do they not want to give her the title right now? Is she still maybe too green or not ready for the title yet? Do they want to crown her? Like, do they want to have Bianca Belair come back, Belair win the title, and then have Jed then crown Jade that way? I don't know. It's interesting to see what they want to do. But right now, Tiffany Stratton is the women's champion, right? She ended up winning by reversing Jaded off the top rope, which looked really sloppy to begin with, to be honest. And that's fine, right? It looks like a very tough move to pull off, especially on the top rope, right? So good going for getting nailing it, but like the reversal was pretty cool in a sense. Right? And then Tiffany Stratton did the previous move, so ran into Jade and called it a day. We'll see what goes on with Tiffany Stratton here. I don't know how much longer she's going to hold that title for, right? I think they have a little more faith in Jade Cargill, or maybe they just feel she's not ready for the title yet. But you have put her in high profile stuff a little bit with Naomi, and you've had these matches with Tiffany now. Maybe it's time you start doing that. Unless you're waiting for the Bianca Belair factor to come into play. Maybe that's it. We're gonna have to fight to see what goes on at SmackDown here, right? It's questionable to see what they do here next. I really hope all of a sudden they just don't do a rematch and all of a sudden Jade wins on SmackDown because that just completely defeats the purpose of everything. All right. So remember how I said if Karrion Kross wins, he's staying, and Karrion Kross loses, he's going on a predictions video. Check that out because it's probably the beginning of the actual of the video here, the predictions video. I don't think I think Kross is gone. Right? I think this is WWE's way of saying here's your last thing here. Go out, do it. You're gone. You know, it's just like I don't think he's re-signing at all. We'll have to find out and see. I think a Sami Zayn's heel turn is in the cards. I just don't know when or why they're gonna or if they're gonna do it or not. It's hard to say, especially the fact that Sami Zayn is very loved amongst a lot of people. It always has been, to be honest. Even when he was doing the conspiracy theory stuff, he was still loved by most people. He's just a very well liked character in the world of WWE by a lot of people. So, like even when he turned on Kevin Owens, you still had people cheering kind of for Sami Zayn. Like, let's be honest. So, I don't. I think they should re-sign Kross. Should give him the push that he deserves. He is very much over on a lot of people. A lot of people love Karrion Kross. You could just easily pull the trigger and turn Sami Zayn heel. Now, unless that happens on Raw, who knows? Moving on. Now, when I said I said probably the bathroom break for the Randy Orton, Jelly Roll, and Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre match. I was kind of serious about that and yet joking at the same time. But it was a good match for what it was. Shocking to me how I actually find more shocked at the fact that Randy Orton and Jelly Roll lost. I would have figured here they would have had the faces win and all that stuff and not done. But word is that Jelly Roll and WWE are going to work some more together. So maybe they might have a rematch down the line, or maybe they might do a Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul thing. But overall, it was a good match for what it was, right? Let's go. Logan Paul jumping off the top of the rope onto the table, breaking the table with Jelly Roll on was pretty cool. To be honest with you, that is pretty cool, right? Especially Drew McIntyre doing the 3-2-1. That was fantastic, right? But Jelly Roll ended up eating the pin here. It wasn't even Randy Orton that took the pin. It was Jelly Roll, which is kind of a little surprising. I figured maybe pin Logan Paul, but that didn't happen. To be honest, it was kind of there for me. It wasn't exactly the greatest thing in the world, right? But it was a good, decent match for what it was. There, say what you will about Logan Paul, right? I'm not the biggest, like I don't I'm not the biggest Logan Paul fan at all. I don't barely know who he was. I only know who he was because of WWE. But he is a good wrestler for what he is. Like he is a good wrestler. That is one thing you cannot deny. Nobody can. we'll wait to see what happens here. I'm thinking maybe they might do a Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul match at some point. Maybe. I don't think this is over. I think we're going to see more Jelly Roll in the WWE. It's a matter of what goes on with it. Now, the last match of the show, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso defeated Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Now, remember when I said they're going to have a bad night until probably the end? Yeah. So, it was in the prediction video as well, right? Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker also got very much showcased here against Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. It was a very good match, very good opener. It actually opened the show, right? So a lot of points there. One thing I do find a little annoying though is that I found that like Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, they start off. They eventually, in the beginning of the match, they knock these guys out of the ring, and then Jey Uso wants to turn his music back on again, which is, look, it's great catchy too, but we don't need to be doing that in the middle of a bloody match. I understand you want to fill some time, but it also led to Roman Reigns getting pulled out of there and getting beat up on the outside a little bit too, and going through a lot of tape, going through some stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Right? But Roman Reigns ended up winning. He ends up really selling the spear that he took for Braun Breaker. He actually pushed Jey Uso out of the way and took the spear for Braun Breaker. They really showcased Braun Breaker a lot, as well as Bronson Reed, which is the right thing to do. Although I feel there's a little bit of an injury that happened to Braun Breaker. He was limping a little bit. If you watch the end of SummerSlam there, his leg, I believe it was his right leg, is very heavily taped up. So it looks like something might have maybe twisted something. It doesn't look like it's a major injury because he was walking fairly decent by the looks of it. But probably more will come on that. It was a good match. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso did win, while Paul Heyman was walking up the ramp, scared, and Roman was just staring at him. He still had the shoes, right? But we're gonna probably get more. There's probably more to this than we're gonna see. Like there's a lot of stories going on. You have Roman Reigns here with Paul Heyman, all that stuff there. They have Seth Rollins now the champion. Well, remember I said earlier in the show that Seth Rollins and Punk may be the WrestleMania main event. It all depends on how they feel. They might pivot away from that. But I do think that Seth Rollins is going to end up holding that title for a while. Do I think Roman's going to get his shot? Yes. Do I think Roman's going to do that maybe at the Rumble? That's maybe where I think it's going to happen. So we're going to find out, see what happens there. All in all, though, SummerSlam Night 1 was very good, was very entertaining. I enjoyed it thoroughly. We're looking forward for Night 2. That's pretty much the show here, those guys. We thank you very much. There's not much else to talk about. Looking forward to Night 2. Right? Make sure you follow us there on DA Wrestling, at DA Sports on TikTok, DA Wrestling on X, here on YouTube, also on Spotify and Podbean. Thank you very much, everybody. Have yourself a good one. Enjoy Night 2 of SummerSlam. Let's see if Cody turns heel.